Hello and welcome back to the channel. So today I am looking at a pre-release or pre-production copy of the Neewer Z2 flash. So you might very well be thinking, what's so special about this flash? Well, a few of the main features of this Speedlight are it has 76 watts output power. It will give you 480 full power flashes from a single charge. It then has a maximum recycle time of 1.5 seconds. It's compatible with HSS or high speed sync up to 1/8000th of a second. It also has not one, but two modeling lights built in. Now these are just a few of the features in this flash. Come on, let's get into it and I'll walk you through it and talk you through it. Now before we pop the box open, I just want to say that yes, Neewer did send out this flash. It is a pre-production model. It is not available for purchase anywhere in the world as of right now, but it is going to be available soon. But Neewer did not sponsor this video and they have had no insight into this video again. So yeah, come on, enough talking. Let's pop the box open and see what you get inside. So I've got my scissors here. I'm just going to break the seal on the bottom of this. All right. Really curious now. Going to open it this way so you'll actually get to see it before me. That looks nice. So we have the flash itself. There is an instruction booklet. There is a light stand. Silica gel patch, love those yolks. A USB charger. Yeah, perfect. And we have, what else do we have here? There is a battery. That's the battery itself, so a nice chunky sizable battery. What's this? This is our charger. Look at the size of that. Isn't that dinky? That just fits inside your camera bag and you can charge it via USB in the car. You can charge it through a power bank. That's really cool. Really like that. And finally, last but not least, we have the USB cable, I'm guessing. Yeah, it's USB-C cable. Right, so I'm going to catch the box and just throw it over there. Light stand, as I was saying, fairly straightforward. Instruction booklet, we'll get to that later on. I'm going to pop this open and see what we get inside. Oh, another silica gel patch, brilliant. This is the flash itself. So that's just twisted. I'm going to slide that open. Just a bit of a paper here. Press and hold down the power button for 2 seconds to turn the flash on and off. Right, so that is the flash itself. And you can see there's a nice big screen in that straight away. And going around to the front, that's what it looks like. And looking at the head of the flash. So again, we just do a quick 360. The flash is our model today. Really nice. That is a fine size of a flash. So as you can see, there's a big battery compartment here that our battery just slides into. There's no cover on that. No, there's not. So we just slide that into place and click. There we go. That's set in position. Now again, the little instructions say here to hold down the power button, which is the very center button. So if I just press and hold, what I'm going to do is pop this up in front. So I'm going to look at my monitor here and switch that on. Boom, there we go. So that's our flash on. Wrong side, go to side. Boom, yeah, she's lighting. Nice big display. Just going to take the wrapper off that. Really nice display on that, TTL. And the other thing I didn't mention as of yet is there is a switch on the side of that too as well, if you can see that there. So there's a manual and there's a TTL switch and there's also a cover here too as well. So that is for the upgrades too as well. On the side, USB-C. Yeah, really nice looking flash. And again, one of the really handy things about it is the locking mechanism for where it goes onto your actual camera itself. You rotate that and it locks in place. I've had that in a few flashes before. It's really fast and it's really handy. There's no fiddly twisting things around the place. So before I get into any more of the technical features, I just want to run you through first impressions of opening this and feeling this flash for the very first time, because this genuinely is my initial reaction. And I have to say, it feels like a very well-made unit. Very solid plastic build quality, and as you can see the size of it, it really looks like a professional flash. This is a chunky, solid bit of gear. It's a really nice looking unit, and Oh yeah, that's nice. There's a nice bit of resistance on the head for tilted up and down, which is something I always really like, because if you're going to use quite a large diffuser on this, it could be inclined to fall down, whereas there's a bit of resistance in that. And there is also, it kind of knits into specific angles too as well. You can see that's about 75, 90, 75 running down along. Yeah, and then straight on. And it rotates around nearly fully 360 degrees. Just looking at the flash head here now and seeing the flash head and the round design on the flash head, the one thing I forgot to mention already is you can actually get a magnetic modifier kit. There's accessories you can buy for this that's magnetic that can pop on and off. That again is going to be available on the Neewer website too as well. I think that's available now because it works on the Z1 flash already. So as regards how do you use the unit, it is really straightforward and very easy to use. I haven't looked at the instruction booklet and I already know how to use this unit. Switching on and off the modelling light, there's a separate button number here for the modelling light. Adjusting the power output, rotate the dial. Power on and off is the center button. You can fire off the flash and you can change modes here then too as well with the mode button. You can obviously zoom in and out too as well, but I'm going to go through, I'll probably post up a separate video on how to use this flash when I've used it a lot more, or I get a bit more time. So as I mentioned already, it's a real beefy battery that's coming with this unit. It's a 7.4 volt, 2600 milliampere hour battery. And it's also coming with the charger too as well, which can be plugged in via USB to a standard USB-A port. So it can plug into a power bank, cigarette lighter socket charger in the car, or the wall outlet charger, which is supplied to as well. And it will charge that battery in about 3.5 hours. But that battery will give you 480 full power flashes. And again, if you're using lower flash output settings, which I would recommend on a 76 watt unit, especially if you're firing bare bulb into people, you will blind them, being honest with you. I would think with this, I haven't tried it as of yet, but a full power flash out of a 76 watt speedlight is going to be near blinding if you're firing it straight at a person. So I would think most photo shoots, you're probably going to be getting closer. If you're shooting in half power, quarter power, 1/32 power or something, you're going to be getting an awful lot more than 480 flashes per charge. The Z2N is also fully compatible with the newer Q Pro and the Q wireless system, as it has the Q wireless system built in. As I mentioned already, a maximum recycling time of 1.5 seconds. Again, this depends on the output power you're shooting at. The recycling time is incredibly fast once you drop the power output down a small bit. The flash also has automatic zoom built in, and it goes from 28mm to 105mm. The Z2N is also compatible with HSS or high speed sync up to 1/8000 of a second. The flash duration then depends on the output power, obviously enough. The flash duration in the Z2 varies from 1/180th of a second to 1/20,000 of a second. So that's guaranteed to freeze any action in front of your camera. With the 2 watt modeling light, that has 10 different output power settings too as well. So that's incredibly handy. So you can see how the light is going to hit your subject. The flash output color temperature then is at 5600 Kelvin, so it will play well or mix well with other flashes too. And finally then we come to weight. This flash weighs roughly about 580 grams apparently. There is a small bit of weight in it, being brutally honest with you, but again you have to remember, this is a 76 watt flash. And it's also coming with a battery that will give you 480 full power flashes. So that's all going to contribute to the weight and the size of this unit. Now this flash is also fully compatible with the Z8 and TTL and high speed sync. So that's the next we're going to do. I'm going to pull up my camera, take a few photographs and see how it goes. So here's my Nikon Z8. So what I'm going to do is grab the Z2 and simply slide that into the hot shoe and then turn this and it locks in place. That's it. That was simple. Going to switch on the camera, switch on the flash, and see will they talk to each other. Modeling light is on, and I am just going to fire off a shot really quickly here now. So just looking at the results of that shot there now, the TTL system worked absolutely perfect, and as it was at 1/8000 of a second, the HSS worked beautifully too as well. So straight away, we're on a winner with the Z2N. So I recorded the first part of this video last week. Now I've been using the Neewer Z2 ever since, and I've been trying it in HSS and in TTL and in manual mode. And I've been trying it on my Nikon Z7 II and my Nikon Z8. And so far, the results have been incredibly impressive, especially when you consider the price. It's truly amazing the performance you can get out of this unit. And the one thing, just as I'm talking about price, I haven't mentioned it already, but Neewer have given me a discount code for all their products, which you can use on their website. I'm going to leave that in the description down below, but as of right now, you can save 21% off the Z2 flash. You can buy the Z2 flash for Canon. Sony is coming in the next week or two, I'm told, so there's going to be the Sony Z2 version, and that's then going to be followed by the Nikon Z2 version. As I mentioned already, this is sort of a pre-production or a pre-release version. So after using this for the last week, what are the things I love and I hate about this flash? Well, there's two things I absolutely love about this flash, and the first is the modeling light that's built into the round head on this flash. It is absolutely fantastic. So if you're shooting with this, it'll help you to see how the light is going to fall, what way the shadows are going to be on your model. So that's really cool. It really does help you shape or create textures too as well with light. So really like that. So that's the top light, and as I mentioned before, there are two modeling lights in this flash, and the second one is incredibly handy for a completely different reason. It helps to illuminate your subject. So in other words, when it's sitting on the camera and you switch this LED light on, which is exactly the same output power as the top one, and again, you control that through 10 different steps of output intensity for both of them. So I'll switch this on if I'm shooting in a darker area. If I'm shooting with, let's say, the Z7 II, it'll actually help light that up so I can focus lock an awful lot easier. Now, the one thing I have to mention here too as well is it has an AF assist beam. But you have to be very careful, because if you're shooting with a Sony, a Canon, or a Nikon mirrorless camera, and that's the point, remember, mirrorless camera, the AF assist beam will not work. So it will not be triggered by the actual camera. So the camera does not output a signal to the Z2 to tell it to switch on. So that's why that bottom modeling light is handy. Now, if you're using this at an event or something to light up people, it's going to be quite difficult for people to look at the light. So some form of diffusion there is going to really help. So a small bit of plastic in front, or a diffuser from some other light or whatever else you had before, just pop that in front. That's going to help soften that light a small bit. Again, this isn't a problem. This is a huge advantage. The second thing I really like about this flash then, considering its compact size and its output power, is its recycling time. A full output flash takes 1.5 seconds to recycle. In other words, for it to be ready to flash again. But it changes considerably. If you want to fire off, let's say at 1/16th output power, you can fire off 8 frames per second and the flash will actually keep up with you. I've tested it on the Z8, it works perfectly. Alternatively then, if you want to fire off at 1/32nd output power, you can fire off 15 frames per second. So that is incredibly handy, and that obviously scales up and scales down from there. So firing off multiple flash bursts is absolutely no issue whatsoever to this light. Now, I did say I was going to mention the good points and the bad points. So Kieran, what are the negatives or what are the bad points of this flash? Well, apart from the price, which is also one of the positives, I think it's about $259 or something is the price of the Canon flash, which is available right now. So this presumably is going to be roughly around the same price. And again, saving 21% off that is going to bring it down around $200 or something. That's incredibly cheap. So you have to pay $200 for it. That's one of the negatives. One of the other slight negatives, and this is me being incredibly picky here now, when you're popping the battery in, and it's one of the things I noticed the first time, even if you go back and look at this again, when I popped the battery in, I wasn't too sure the battery was actually locked in position. So if I pop the battery out, pops out beautifully, no issue, no problem whatsoever there. It's kind of spring loaded. But when I put it back in, if you listen, there's kind of like a tub. There's no click. And it's one of the things I've noticed, and that is me being incredibly picky. But once you use this a couple of times, you just get used to it, and that's just the way it behaves. It's like the catch coming back up long is dampened slightly. Whereas in a lot of the photography gear, when you actually pop it in, there's a solid click, and it's more of a high-pitched click, so you can hear it a bit easier. So I suppose just from my point of view, I like to double check things, so I just pop it in, you kind of go, oh, is that really closed? It is, yeah, perfect. And away you go. But then again, how often are you going to be taking the flash or the flash battery out of the flash itself? Other than that, everything else just works really well. The display is beautifully crisp, and the user interface is incredibly straightforward and really easy to use. The fact then that it has the manual and TTL switch on the side is a huge bonus. You can just really quickly swap from manual to TTL, and I really like that. I genuinely really like having that facility because I tend to shoot in manual quite a lot. So that is very handy for me, and the times I want to swap over to TTL, just pop this down and away we go. So yeah, that's basically it. What do you think? Is the Neewer Z2 something you could see yourself buying in the near future? Thanks again for watching, everyone. Mind yourselves, and see you out there.